Here we have a 2010 International 4400 series cab. It's a two-door cab. It has a Max Force 9 330 horsepower engine. Has an Allison 3000 EVS transmission. It has seating for two with a console in the middle that is Metalfab built. It houses all the emergency lights and the siren controls and the pump shift. The chassis has aluminum wheels, and Metalfab has installed a deck plate trim behind the chassis steps. The body is a 1,000-gallon pumper with a 1050 Hale pump. It is high sides on the left side, low side compartments on the right side, with a full depth rear compartment that houses a dump valve and a gated 2.5-inch tank fill. This unit has dual 2.5-inch discharges on each side, one 2.5-inch discharge on the rear. It has plumbing for a monitor and a monitor installed on it, and two crosslays mounted on top of the pump house. On the pump panel, we have the controls for a Foam Pro 2001 single tank 20-gallon foam cell. We have an FRC in control governor. Every discharge has a discharge gauge mounted directly over the discharge control, and every discharge is color coded. There is a 6-inch suction mounted on each side of the pump panel. And the bottom portion of the pump house houses individual drains for each discharge. On the body, we have Amdor roll-up doors everywhere, all around, and every compartment is lighted with LED compartment lights. At the rear of the truck, we have a full depth compartment. On top of the hose bed, there are two sliding hose bed dividers, and there's a 1,500 imperial gallon pour tank mounted in the hose bed. Underneath the T of the tank, inside the body, there are two suction hose tube holders for 6-inch suctions 10 feet long, and underneath the right side fender top, there is a compartment for pipe bowl storage. On the right side of the truck, we have a low side compartment ahead of the rear wheels and a low side compartment behind the rear wheels. There is a manual ladder rack that houses a 24-foot 2-section extension ladder, a 14-foot roof ladder, and on the fender top there's a 10-foot attic ladder mounted. On the right side of the pump house, we find the dual 2.5-inch discharges and the 6-inch inlet. There is a step mounted below the pump house door used to reload the crosslays. On top of the crosslay compartment, we have a deck plate cover that opens up towards the cab to allow easier loading of the hoses, and also offers a firm surface over the hoses. This unit is an NFPA 1901 certified unit and a ULC S515-04 tested unit. It has a federal LED light package with a light bar on top of the cab that houses red and white LEDs. There are a set of flashers in the front bumper, a set on the front hood, a set in the rear fender well, and a set on the back. The beacons on the back are micro LEDs from Federal. This Metalfab 2010 pumper that will be delivered to Allardville, New Brunswick, has a 1050 Hale pump. Inside the body compartment, in the front compartment, it houses a 4,500 psi Cascade tank. In the rear compartment, it houses the second 4,500 psi Cascade tank, along with the Cascade refill station and the Cascade control panel. the high side compartment over the left side wheels is for storage. There is turtle towel in every compartment, and every compartment is vented. At the rear of the unit, we find a full depth rear compartment that houses a 10-inch Newton dump, manually controlled, with a 36-inch extension. We find 2 suction hose storage tubes that houses 6-inch suctions 10 feet long, and we find a 2.5-inch rear gated direct tank fill. There are axes mounted inside each compartment on the outer side walls. And in the hose bed, we find a 1,500 imperial gallon tank that is made by Metalfab with the dual hose bed dividers. There are adjustable folding steps on each side of the body with the grab handles to access the upper portion of the hose bed. Underneath the right side fender top, we find a storage for pike pole. In the compartments on the right hand side, the rear compartment is open for storage, and there is a pull out tray mounted inside the front right side compartment.